It was a beautiful piece of 19th century engineering, but not a lot of use to me. I couldn't reach the wheel and couldn't see any point in climbing up to it. The clamp was held in a mechanism which forced its jaws open. I decided not to tamper with the clamp. Those jaws looked like it could snap shut at any moment. It read Pont de Nord, fine wine producers. I didn't recognize the label. The sign looked as if it was firmly attached to the wall. Anyway, I didn't really want it as a souvenir. The doors looked 100 years old, but they were still very sturdy. A sturdy chain and padlock hung around the door handles. It read Condor Transglobal. I'd come to the right place. Now all I had to do was get inside. This sign also looked firmly attached to the wall. That door seemed to be the only way into the warehouse. The din must have drowned out the sound of my knocking. There was a little grill set into the door. The grill opened from the inside.
I'm guessing that the din is coming from this ventilation shaft just here.
Maybe there was a way in up there. It was a duct from a ventilation fan. The metal housing prevented me from getting to the fan. A fine old oak barrel.
I'm guessing that these barrels are empty, but they would still be fairly heavy though.
The window looked like it hadn't been opened for many years. The window was jammed shut. The window wasn't fully shut. The guy was partly hidden behind a stack of crates.
I wonder why he's hiding there. This guy seems to know that he exists though, so it's not like he is completely hidden.
I wouldn't have been hurt over the din of the fan. It was a powerful fan. I couldn't reach the blades of the fan, which was just as well. If I'd stuck my fingers in there, I'd never be able to play guitar again.
Well, sticking our fingers in it is not a good idea, so let's try this cane.
That did the trick. The fan clunked and shorted out as its blades were mashed by the boat hook.
Hey, you make any more noise, I break your arms.
That bully needed to be taught a lesson.
Garzak's already mad because we didn't get the stone. You give me any trouble, I'll tell him it was all your fault.
Karzak? That must be his boss.
I think this guy needs to be taught a lesson.
It was the creep who'd kidnapped Nico, and I had a score to settle. I decided there was a better way to attract their attention. The fan was a real mess. A splintered boat hook, dented blades, and a shorted motor. The boat hook was jammed in the dented fan blades.
We should be able to knock on the door now, and he should be able to hear us.
Who is he?
The idea here is to lure him out, and we do that by pissing him off. If we select the pizza option, he is not too interested, so we have to knock on the door, I believe, 3 times with this excuse. So let's cut straight to the chase, and
My name is Stobart, George Stobart.
What do you want?
I want to return your spider. I pulled its legs off, which is exactly what I'm going to do to you. I got the feeling he wasn't too pleased to see me.
if we hang around and don't hide, he will come out and shoot us. The idea here is that we need to distract him and then temporarily incapacitate him.
Even if he wasn't carrying a gun, I wouldn't want to mess with that guy.
Right, let's get in there before he recovers.
It was an old, creaky, heavy, splintery wooden door. I wasn't going back out there. Oh no. There was a notice board beside the desk with an assortment of paperwork on it. Among the paperwork which adorned the notice board was something which caught my eye. It was a delivery note from Condor Transglobal, and the address was Coromante City. There was a small drawer in the desk. Knowing my luck, it was bound to be locked. The only interesting thing I found was a small brass key. A filing cabinet. It was locked. The little brass key didn't fit the lock. The room was filled with Transglobal crates. All the crates were firmly sealed. Whoa! Don't shoot! The little guy had a blowpipe. That confirmed my suspicions about what had happened to Nico. I waited for him to shoot me, but it didn't happen. Instead, he seemed to want to tell me something. What? What do you want? He seemed excited, almost desperate. What did he want so bad? The little Indian fella wasn't about to let me past.
Guaramonte!
Not until he'd got what he wanted. Whatever that was.
Well, he seems to know something about Coromante.
The guy was partly hidden behind a stack of crates. Hi. I'm not going to hurt you.
Guaramonte!
Is that where you're from? Coromante City?
Guaramonte! Guaramonte!
Okay. What have you done with my girlfriend?
Huh?
I am not leaving without her. Where is she? He didn't appear to understand me. Tell me what you've done with Nico, and I'll share these biscuits with you. I knew it sounded lame, trying to bargain with a box of doggy snacks. Besides, how was he to know how yummy they tasted? Do you know what this is?
Peito! Lotseka peito! Hinyakot lagoino mutu!
Why the hell would we show him a chimney cap?
This was the dart you used to knock out my girlfriend. If she's come to any harm, I will count you personally responsible.
Lotse kapaitu fnor.
What does this key unlock?
Huh?
Hey, you're manacled. Who did this? That big thug? I'm gonna set you free, okay? Hey, come back here! The little guy had gone to ground amongst the stack of crates.
I hope that he stays safe.
It was an elevator to the upper floor. I couldn't pry the doors apart with my bare hands. There was usually an easier way to do it.
I know that the little guy was involved in Nico's kidnapping, but it seems like he didn't have much of a choice in the matter.
It was the button to call the elevator. Just in time. Interrupting the beam of light kept the doors from closing and stopped anyone from using the elevator. But what now? The crate bore the familiar logo of Condor Transglobal, but no clues to its contents. There. That would keep the doors from closing. The crate bore the familiar logo of Condor Transglobal, but no clues to its contents. I couldn't move the crate until I blocked the light beam with something else.
Why would you need to? It seems to be doing the job perfectly well.
It was a device to prevent the elevator doors closing when they were obstructed. I decided to leave the electric eye alone. An unmarked switch. Tempting. It was the elevator call button. Nothing happened. That was probably because the elevator was already on this floor. The crate was labeled, "Danger. Live contents. Do not drop." There were small holes in the top and sides, and scratchy noises coming from inside.
Okay, I wonder what's in there.
But decided not to risk dropping it and meeting the live contents.
You don't have to drop it. You just have to place it carefully on the floor.
It was a large crate with no label. No chance. Whatever those crates contained, they were heavy. The statue looked as if it was Central or South American in origin. The statue looked way too heavy for me to move. It was a hydraulic hand cart. There wasn't enough room to move the handle. It was a pulley attached to a long rail which ran the length of the building. It wasn't much use, though. No rope. There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope. I realized the doors must lead to a loading platform high above the dockside. A sturdy beam was jammed across the doors. These doors were not going to open. The window was not designed to open. There was no way to open that window.
These scratches here don't appear until you turn on the lights. And this was something that stumped me when I first played this. as when you emerge from the elevator, they're kind of obscured.
I noticed a faint mark on the wooden floor. There was an arc-shaped scratch on the floor, as if a door had been opened in the nearby wall. There didn't appear to be any difference in the paneling of this part of the wall. My fingers traced the outline of a secret door in the wall. Then I found a small round stud, which was set flush to the surrounding wooden paneling. Just as I'd hoped, a secret room. Nico!
Hi, Nico.
Nico was trussed up like a chicken, but she didn't appear to be harmed.
Okay, George, she's tied up. Please don't kiss her.
Hold still. This might hurt a little.
Ow!
Think yourself lucky you don't have a mustache.
Thank God it's you, Georges. How did you find me?
I'll explain later. We have to get out of here.
Where's Pablo, the big guy?
Out cold. Too much wine doesn't agree with him. Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay. Untie me this instant.
What?
Get me out of this chair.
It was a short length of rope tied tightly around Nico's slim wrists. There. How are you feeling?
Oh, thanks, Georges. How on earth did you find me?
I knew Oubier had been in Marseille. But never mind about me. How about you tell me exactly what's going on, starting with that Mayan stone?
I picked it up from one of Karzak's men in Paris. I was expecting a consignment of narcotics.
Drugs?
Yes. The proof I needed to expose Karzak's smuggling operation. I'd set it up to act as his courier, and once I had the proof, I planned to go straight to Inspector Mou. But instead of the dope I'd expected, they sent me that stone instead. And to find out more, I called Professor Oubier, who invited me to his mansion. At least, I thought it was Oubier.
I don't get it. If Karzak's business is drugs, why is he so desperate to get his hands on that stone?
Maybe it has some significance to the local people in Central America. It could be Karzak's means of getting them to work for him. Anyway, we've got to get out of here.
Nico, wait! It was a grotesque little statue of a figure carrying a shield and a spear. We can't use the elevator. If that thug Pablo's recovered, he'll be waiting for us.
We've got to do something. Where does that door lead to?
I'm not sure. Nico looked well considering her ordeal. Okay, tell me what you know about Condor.
Condor Transglobal exports Aztec and Mayan relics from Central America to Europe. But that's just a cover for the real business. Drug smuggling.
What proof do you have?
Nothing yet.
Do you know where Condor is based?
In Central America. A place called Quaramonte.
I saw that name on a docket downstairs. Tell me about this Karzak guy.
Well, I saw him for only a few minutes, but he frightens me. I got the impression that Pablo was nervous when he was around too. His eyes. They're like a wild animal's. Like a tiger. That's what scared me most about him. He looked so unpredictable and dangerous.
Did you know Oubier's wife was a film star?
No, I didn't know he was married. What happened to her?
She died. In mysterious circumstances, apparently.
How mysterious?
I heard she was murdered. Possibly by Oubier himself.
A murderer, huh? André said he was something of a celebrity.
Did I hear you refer to Inspector Moo?
Yes, you remember him?
Well, of course I do. But I thought he was dead.
Oh no, he reappeared after the broken sword case had blown over. When he found out who was in with the Neo-Templars, he went into hiding. Moo knew more than was good for him.
Does he know about our involvement with the case?
If he does, he's not telling. Still, he got a sudden promotion.
If you haven't seen the first game or played it, Inspector Moo was involved throughout, and back then he was a sergeant. Now, it doesn't crop up in the main storyline, but if you visit the police station at a certain point, the officer on the desk at the time reveals to you that Moo has died. And you can only find this out if you pretty much look for it. But yeah, he faked his death, which is something we didn't find out until now. I did include the dialogue in an additional video, but I don't think Moo pops up in this game, unfortunately. He was one of my favourite characters from the first game. Anyway, let's continue on.
Did that Indian guy mistreat you?
If you forget about the abduction, verbal threats, and bondage, no.
Well, what about the little guy?
I don't think he knows where he is or what he's doing here. The big guy, Pablo, he brought Titipoco from the jungle.
Titty what?
Titipoco. That's what I heard Pablo call the dwarf.
Do you recognize this?
Is that the dart which knocked me out?
That's right. I kept it as a souvenir. Have you any idea who this little statue is supposed to be?
I'm not very well acquainted with Mayan deities, Georges. But whatever his name, he sure is ugly.
I found these in your bag.
Oh, they were a gift.
I know. I read the note.
God knows what was going through Andre's mind.
I think that's quite plain enough. Look, the little guy downstairs was chained up with these.
That must have been Pablo's doing. I don't blame him, though. That little guy is dangerous.
You're still sore about that poisoned dart?
Of course I'm sore.
What we need to do here is we need to use this statue as a battering ram. As you can see here, the hook is on a system which goes straight to the door. So firstly, we need to actually attach this statue to the hook. George does not want to handle this box of live animals, so we need to move this box back and move it across. So let's use this tape to put across this beam of light.
Hopefully, the tape would prevent those doors from closing and stop the Indian from being able to call the elevator. The pallet rose about 6 inches off the floor, and I said a silent prayer to whoever had discovered the power of hydraulics.
What on earth are you doing?
Trying to raise the statue so I can hook it to that pulley.
Is that really going to help us?
I like to keep myself occupied in times of stress.
At least we're trying something, Nico. What are you doing?
The statue looked as if it was Central or South American in origin.
Well, I was actually trying to examine the rope, but never mind.
It was too heavy for me to move on my own. Could you give me a hand to push this statue?
What for?
This, my dear, is our passport to freedom.
If you say so, dear.
Okay, push! Great teamwork.
Nice to be working with you again, Mr. Stobart.
You too, Mademoiselle Collard? I wonder if that guy has recovered yet.
A cable stretched way out across the docks to a building in the distance. I thought about hanging from the cable with my bare hands, but it was too far to the other end of the cable to escape that way. That was no good.
Oh, okay. Alright, let's try the manacles then.
Nico, I have a great idea.
George, where have you been?
Never mind that. Do you have the Mayan stone?
Maybe I have, but,
Don't argue, André. Give the stone to George.
well, of course, if you say so, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Andre.
George, he told me you'd been kidnapped, my dear. I'm glad to see he was mistaken.
Oh, but it was true. If it hadn't been for George, I wouldn't be here now.
It's not finished yet. Karzak's thugs will be back for that stone, you can bet. The best lead that we have is Coromonte City.
Coromonte? It's in Central America. That's where Aubier gets his artifacts.
That's all we needed to know. Come on, George.